So I think
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah.
So we can start now. And last time we were talking about natural benefic and natural malefic planet. I hope you understand that there should be no problem in deciding which is natural benefic planet and natural malefic planet. So this is by nature, which planet is benefic, which planet is malefic. But any planet, depending on the position of in the horoscope, can be functional malefic or functional benefic. Any of these planets, depending on the position in the zodiac, can be functional benefic or functional malefic also. That is as far as results are concerned. From the point of view of the results, any planet can be benefic, any planet can be malefic also. So how do we decide which planet is functional benefic, which planet is functional malefic for your horoscope? This I think everybody has done also, but even then, just for the sake of revision, I will tell you a few points. There are only 4 points. So if you keep in mind those 4 points, you can decide in any horoscope whether a particular planet is functional benefic or a functional malefic planet. So the 4 conditions are, the first is the Lord of Ascendant, the Lord of the first house or the Lord of Ascendant is always functional benefic planet. Lord of Ascendant is always functional benefic planet, even if it is a Lord of Trik house also. Even if it is a Lord of Trik house also. So Lord of Ascendant is always functional benefic planet. It can't give the malefic results as far as the results are concerned. Secondly, it's a very important point, the Lord of Trik house. Sorry, Lord of Trine house. Trine means 5th and 9th house. Lord of any trine house, ascendant we already discussed that the Lord is always benefic. But as far as Lord of other trines are concerned, that is the 5th and 9th house, they are also functional benefic. Lord of trine, that is 5th and 9th houses, they are also functional benefic, provided the Mool Trikon sign, provided the Mool Trikon sign of that planet does not fall in the Trik house, provided the Mool Trikon sign does not fall in the Trik house. Let's say ascendant number 1. Ascendant number 1. So Jupiter is the Lord of which houses? For ascendant number 1, Jupiter is the Lord of which houses?
Sagittarius and Pisces.
Which houses?
5th house.
For ascendant number 1, Jupiter will be the Lord of which houses? Simple, 9th and 12th. 9th and 12th house.
Yeah, 9th and 12th.
Jupiter will be the Lord of 9th and 12th house. And what is the Mool Trikon sign of Jupiter?
The 9.
9 sign. Mool Trikon sign of Jupiter is Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is not in the Trik house. Sagittarius sign is in the 9th house. So it means that for ascendant number 1, Jupiter will always be functional benefic planet. Jupiter will always be functional benefic planet. Now let us say for ascendant number 6, ascendant number 6, Saturn is the Lord of which houses? For ascendant number 6, Saturn is the Lord of which houses? Or I can see from here.
So 5th and 6th.
5th and 6th house. Very good. It's the Lord of 5th and 6th house. And what is the Mool Trikon sign? Mool Trikon sign of Saturn.
So 11.
11 sign. Very good. So for ascendant number 6, you see here, Saturn is the Lord of this house as well as this house. So I told you that the Lord of trine house, 5th and 9th house, is always functional benefic, provided its Mool Trikon sign does not fall in the Trik house. And here the Mool Trikon sign is falling in the Trik house. This is the Mool Trikon sign of Saturn. So Mool Trikon sign of this Saturn is sign number Aquarius, and it is falling in the Trik house. So that's why for this ascendant, Saturn becomes a functional malefic planet. Saturn becomes the functional malefic planet.
Sir, in case of ascendant lord, if the Mool Trikon falls in the Trik houses, then also it will be functional benefit.
Then also it is functional benefic. What I say that Lord of Ascendant, irrespective of any position, there's no rider associated with that, is always functional benefic planet, firstly. Secondly, Lord of 5th and 9th house, they are also functional benefic, provided now there is a rider that Mool Trikon sign should not fall in the Trik house. So in the case of ascendant number 1, you have seen Jupiter was the Lord of this and this house. So Mool Trikon sign was also here, so it became functional benefic planet. But here the Saturn Mool Trikon sign is falling in the Trik house, so therefore Saturn becomes a functional malefic planet in this case. So this is the second condition. Third condition is Lord of Trik house. Lord of Trik house. If it is not the Lord of any of the trine, Lord of Trik house, if it is not the Lord of any of the trine, is always functional malefic planet. Is always functional malefic planet. Lord of Trik house, if it is not the Lord of any of the trine houses, is always functional malefic planet. So this is the third condition. And lastly, the fourth condition is in case of other planets. In case of other planets, you have to see the relation of that planet with the Lord of Ascendant. You have to see the relationship of that planet with the Lord of Ascendant. If the planet is friend to the Lord of Ascendant, it becomes functional benefic planet. If planet is enemy to the Lord of Ascendant, it becomes functional malefic planet. So in case you remember these four conditions, you can decide in any horoscope which planet is functional benefic and which planet is functional malefic planet.
Sir, can you repeat that fourth condition?
Fourth condition is कि in case of other cases, we have already discussed the Lord of Ascendant, we have already discussed the Lord of Trine house, we have discussed the Lord of Trik houses. For other planet, if the planet is friend to the Lord of Ascendant, it is functional benefic. If it is enemy to the Lord of Ascendant, it is functional malefic planet. Right?
Sir, in case of like a Taurus ascendant, what does Venus become? Because it owns a Trik also and it owns
this
the.
Is what I'm saying.
Also.
If the planet is the Lord of Ascendant, even if it is a Lord of Trik house, it will always remain as a functional benefic planet only. Let us examine in any horoscope. Let us say we can just give an example. Okay, let's say ascendant. Let me see which is the ascendant number 1. Yeah, wonderful. So this is, let's say this is ascendant number 1. And we want to see which planet is functional benefic planet, which planet is functional malefic planet in this particular case. So we start with the Sun. We start with the Sun. Sun is the Lord of which house here?
So Trikon, 5th
Trikon
house.
House. Sun is the Lord of Trikon house. And I said Lord of Trikon house is always functional benefic planet. So we will say for this ascendant number 1, the Sun is a functional benefic planet. Okay.
So irrespective of the placement?
Any placement. We are not talking of Lord of Ascendant is all exemptions are there. It is always functional benefic irrespective of its position, irrespective of other house being a Trik house. But that will never give a malefic results. Lord of Ascendant, such a strong position actually. Okay, Ascendant is quadrant as well as trine also. So this in itself is a Yog Karak position. It's such a strong position. That's why Lord of Ascendant is never a malefic planet. It can never become a functional malefic planet. So Sun in this case is the Lord of trine. So Sun we will say is a functional benefic planet for this ascendant, right? Now, let's say moon. Moon is the lord of this house. Moon is the lord of this fourth house.
Kendra.
And what is the relationship with this lord of this, that is the Mars?
Friend.
Which are the friends of Mars?
Moon, Jupiter, Sun.
Moon, Sun, and Jupiter. Sun, Moon, and Jupiter. They are the friend of Mars. So Moon is a friend to the Mars. So therefore, Moon also becomes functional benefic planet for ascendant number 1. Right? Because Moon is friendly to the Mars, is friendly to the Lord of Ascendant. So therefore, Moon also becomes functional benefic planet for ascendant number 1. Okay?
So can we also say that even if the placement is bad or whatever, they might not give sufficient results, but they will never give bad results.
Yeah,
Is this what we can interpret?
They will become the weak planet. And I will come to that actually. What you say is very correct. We will come to that.
Okay.
But let us apply these principles and let us see what are the position of this planet. So Moon is a functional benefic. There's no doubt. Mars is the Lord of Ascendant. So automatically it becomes the functional benefic planet. Mars is the Lord of Ascendant. So automatically it becomes the functional benefic planet. Okay. Because Lord of Ascendant is always functional benefic planet. Now let's talk about Mercury. What is the position of Mercury here? Mercury is the lord of which houses? Hello.
Gemini.
Third and sixth.
Mercury is the lord of this and this house. So Mercury is a lord of Trick house. Mercury is a lord of Trick house. So Mercury becomes functional malefic planet for ascendant number 1. Mercury will become functional malefic planet. Now let's talk of Jupiter. Jupiter is the lord of this and this, just now we discussed. It's the lord of trine house, and Mul-Trikon sign also falls in the trine house. So Jupiter also becomes functional benefic planet in this case. Jupiter becomes functional benefic planet in this case, right? Now Venus. So Venus is the lord of which houses? Second house and the 7th house. Venus is the lord of 2nd and 7th house. And what is the relationship with the Mars?
So it's enemy of Mars.
Pardon?
Enemy. Sir.
Enemy.
Enemy of Mars are which planets?
Saturn,
Mercury, and Venus.
I think we have all forgotten actually. So it's a neutral actually. Venus is a neutral to Mars. We are seeing the relationship with the Mars. So what we will say?
Neutral.
Yeah. So what we will say that? Pardon?
So we say in Aries ascendant, Venus is the Marak Graha. That's why.
Marak is a different thing. Marak is this and this.
Okay.
Because it's a lord of 2nd house as well as the 7th house. That's why it is a Marakist planet. But what I'm saying, whether it is a functional benefic or functional malefic planet.
Then in neutral cases, how we will decide?
So we will say this is functional neutral planet. We will say that this is functional neutral planet. Then Saturn. What is the position of Saturn? Saturn also is the lord of this and this house.
yeah.
Again, we have to see the relationship with the Mars.
10 and 11.
Again, a neutral planet, functional neutral planet. So like this, we can decide for each ascendant which planet is functional benefic, which planet is functional malefic, and which planet is functional neutral planet. And now what you are saying, and that was a very relevant point, suppose in this case, let us say this particular horoscope, what is the position of Sun? What is
It's in a friendly sign.
Pardon?
It's in a friendly sign. Friendly sign.
And which planets are having an aspect on this?
Saturn.
Yes, very good. What else?
Rahu.
Rahu also. It is associated with all malefic planets. Sun, Saturn, Rahu. And there is no aspect of benefic planet on the Sun. No aspect of benefic planet. Naturally, how the Sun can remain functional benefic planet in this case? Sun will not remain functional benefic because by placement it is afflicted. It is too afflicted. So apart from applying the 4 principles that we have mentioned, you have to see that a planet is badly afflicted. So even a functional benefic planet may act as a functional malefic planet also. And a functional benefic planet, if it is associated with all the benefic planet, it can act as a functional benefic planet. So you have to see the position also, because if we see the position in this case, we see that Sun is badly afflicted, though it is a functional benefic, but the Sun is badly afflicted. So Sun will not remain as a functional benefic.
But when we took the affliction part, then we are seeing the affliction of natural malefics on Sun, because right now Saturn is a functional.
Whenever we see
neutral.
the aspect, whenever
Yeah.
we talk of the aspect we always consider natural benefic and malefic only. We don't see the aspect of functional
Okay.
benefic and functional malefic.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Sun is badly afflicted, and you know that there are 4 planets which give separating tendency: Sun, Saturn, Rahu, and Lord of 12th house. Sun, Saturn, Rahu, and Lord of 12th house. These planets are known as a planet of giving separating tendency. It means when any of 2 or more of these planets are associated with any house, so they separate us from the significations of that house. We don't get the significations of that house. So Sun, Saturn, Rahu in this case are all 3 which are planet of separating tendency. So they separate us from the significations of this house. They separate us from the significations of this house, and this house is the house of father. So naturally, is a boy whose father died at a very early age, even though Sun appears to be functional benefic planet in this case. So you have to see the position, you have to apply your prudence, common sense also. Not necessarily that you just go by these principles only, they are the general principles, but we have to see the position. If some planet is badly afflicted, so even though that may be functional benefic by this definition, but how it can give the result of a benefic planet if it is badly afflicted? So that always you have to keep in mind actually. So like this we can.
Then we have to see the degree also of Saturn and Rahu. If
Degree is
Saturn and
only
Rahu
about
itself are not,
strength. Degree is only about strength. How strong is the planet?
yeah, if Saturn and Rahu are not strong, then also Sun will be afflicted and it will
Naturally,
get,
Sun, Saturn,
doesn't-
Rahu, that association of these 3 planets is sufficient to damage any house. 3 malefic planet getting associated with a particular house, so that is sufficient to damage that house. And all 3 malefics, and there is no association of benefic planet with the Sun.